I'm Damian Burris, a broker here in Columbia, South Carolina, broker owner, executive realty, also a licensed instructor for real estate, motivational speaker all across um, United States for agents and business owners. Was just recently appointed to the commissioner for appraiser by the governor. So that's a little bit about who I am, what I do.
Hello, I no.
You have to hit the button.
Mike, hello. My name is Rochelle Hicklin, and I am, I like it. I brought my own cheering squad. And I have been a licensed realtor for a little over 18 years. I started in Fort Mill, Charlotte, and Rock Hill. That was my primary area. I have been in Columbia for the last few years. And yeah, so that's what I do. I'm primarily investors agents, but I also do, primary home buyers as well,
Okay.
and sellers.
Patrick.
Hey everyone, I'm Patrick Mooney. Been in real estate for 9 years. I've been lived here my whole life. Actually, grew up down the street from Andrew. We kind of grew up in the same area and then reconnected. I've been doing primarily general brokerage real estate on my own for quite some time since I started, and then just recently, year and a half ago, got into this group where doing real estate investing. So I'm super excited to. I'm jumping into this as well, and just kind of adding more to the wheelhouse, so to speak. So working with investors, helping them find properties, finding properties to fix, flip, hold, whatever you need to do, I can help.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we're gonna dive in. What is with these mics? No, I just sat. All right, so we're gonna dive in with probably the biggest thing to happen for real estate agents in any of our lifetimes, which would be the NAR settlement, the NAR lawsuit. And I have my thoughts, I have my opinions and things that are coming, but I know there's a lot of questions out there for it. So I'm going to kick this off to you, Damien, because you know the governor. And I don't know, this just seems like a broker question. So tell me, what do you see? What does it mean for the people in this room in this settlement and lawsuit?
Um, it's complicated. When I say that, I mean, South Carolina is one of those, I think one of 12 or 11 states that we've already been doing disclosure anyway. A lot of this happened from states that are not disclosing. They're non-disclosure states. We've been practicing that, or agents should have been practicing that since the inception of your career. However, it does changes some things as it pertains to the perception of what the general public sees, because they think we've had it fixed. If you understand real estate, the Sherman-Clayton federal law says that negotiations are they're what's the word I'm looking for? Negotiable. All commissions are negotiable. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's not fixed at 6. Mm-hmm. We can start at 10. If you can get us down to 6, then great. But it's negotiable, so it doesn't start at 6. That's what everybody says. When I tell my agents, when you're talking, say a negotiated 6%. Don't say the standard, because the minute you say standard, it becomes illegal. So I think the other states, in Calabasas and, Malibu, those areas where it's $900,000 to sell a $43 million home, does it cost almost $1 million to sell a home? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But I think the issue is they're not disclosing properly, and that's where we're having the biggest problems. If you know the lineage or the history of real estate here, we didn't always have transaction brokerage. That came into play a couple of years ago because we were going to lose dual agency because of the same things that would happen in Florida and people not disclosing, and it affects the state entirely, or the nation entirely. I think we're going to be okay. Columbia is a small area. So, the agents that could possibly stick to the, hey, we're not going to disclose or we're not going to sell, they would strictly have to be listing agents for the rest of their lives, because they're going to be on the other end of the, spectrum at some point as a buyer's agent. And you just want to create that nucleus of great realtors. And I think we have that here in Columbia, South Carolina. I don't think it's going to affect us much. honestly, to me, if you start looking at who works the most from listing to buyer's agent, yeah. So start seeing that shift a little bit when we looking at getting your car 5:30 traffic and driving 15 houses just for them to not pick any of them. We do it all again Saturday. So we're looking at that workload. It is what it is, but I think it affects more so of the states that don't have disclosure, and they are going to force that or make that the next step.
Yeah. So, big picture is that there's not a huge shift or change in the way we do things, but there's a mentality shift. As investors, as sellers, as buyers, like you may not have been thinking about the value an agent's bringing, but you probably are now. So, Rochelle, how do you address that for the investors that are in here in the room that are now thinking, well, I'm going to interview my agents? What does that mean for?
Yeah, I think you should interview your agent, and your agent should interview you. And it's not because, we don't want to work with you, but we need to see if we want to work with you, and you need to see if you want to work with us. I said this in your workshop the other day that we all have love languages, and you all have investor love languages. Some of you all are want to talk every day, and some of you all just want to text. Some of you all want to go look at every house that you find. Some of you want me to go look at the house. So I have to give you my expectations, and then you in turn have to give me yours. So, that's where the value comes in. And I would not spread the love between every agent, because you want to find somebody that's loyal to you. And if you're loyal to them, they'll be loyal to you. So you want to build your team. Yes, we all can help you, but I'm not going to go out for you today and then you're going to call somebody else tomorrow and somebody else, because that's not how it works. So if we don't love each other the same, then we need to find another partner. And it's okay. I've walked away from people before and said, I'm not the person for you. Nothing against you, but I'm just not, we just don't work the same. And I want you to find somebody that can do you a great service. And so I think that's me being a great realtor to that person. So,
Yeah,
that's where the value is.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick, I'll let you wrap this up kind of on what should an investor, maybe who hasn't engaged with a real estate agent or just getting started out, what's some of the things that they should be looking for from that agent if they have no idea?
I mean, so a lot of things to look for in a good agent, making sure that they're going to be loyal, working for you, that they're ethical. I mean, ethics is a huge part. You can ask any agents. I've known Damien and I've known Rochelle for a while. I get along with all the agents in town. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's all about who you want to work with within your circle. We do all work together. So we all kind of, see each other from time to time at realtor events and things like that. And it's always good to have a really good reputation with all the other agents. So that helps you further along your quest to find the house. If it's me helping you find the house versus somebody who the listing agent doesn't know, they're probably going to go with me just because they know me. I know that sounds weird, but it is true. And it's sometimes like, I know Patrick has a good buyer, will get this deal done versus somebody who they don't know and somebody they've never worked with. Yeah. So, just pick your agent. And like Rochelle said, work with that one agent. You guys, I'm sure have called Zillow before and you get like 5 different agents call you. You don't want to do that every day. I'm telling you what, you'll be so upset. You'll be like, how many agents are going to call me today? How many email lists am I going to be on? Pick a good agent, be loyal to that agent, stick with that agent, and see if you can work together. And if you can, they'll help you.
It's so funny you would say that. So I walked into a house the other day and the builder was there and he was talking about somebody that he knew. And he said, yeah, and Patrick. And I was like, oh, okay, we're good.
Oh, see.
It's just that he knew you. I knew that this house was great. So it's all in reputation. So
yeah.
It does help.
Yep.
Love that. All right, so that's some of the national news. Does anybody have any questions on that? Anybody out there that burning questions? Good. We're going to get local then. Let's start talking local. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What about want to get a realtor and maybe the buyers as well, maybe get conflict in interest. Like,
So you have a realtor that,
happens to me where like 3 years ago,
yeah.
contact one agent. It was a great opportunity. Some of me about, and he just took the information and he went.
So well, that's the ethics. So let me just repeat the question is, what about an agent that has conflicting interests in the property that you want? So, that goes to exactly what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
there might be some laws that,
Yeah. So, investors, here's what you have to realize. Unless you signed a piece of paper with that agent, whatever you say to them can and will be used against you. Seriously, I'm a retired homicide detective, so I link law enforcement and real estate together. If you have a deal, because now honestly he's making everybody a deal.
I know that's my bad.
So be careful when you start talking bottom line and what you're willing to take for it, because if you haven't signed that agency agreement, there's 6 fiduciary duties. One of them is obedience. Well, obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting, and reasonable care. That confidentiality is important because the minute that they sign that agreement, they now have to, understand the law a certain way and can't handle you a certain way. But if you're talking to a buyer until you sign that agreement. So you really need to keep that in mind. Everybody, if you're calling your agent, don't divulge so much because we're all deal finders.
That's right.
So be careful with that.
That's right. That's my fault. Everybody's a deal finder. But that goes to other buyers out there, other people in your networking community. There's the opportunities are fewer and far between now, like we just talked about. Like the discounts aren't really out there as much. So if you got a hot deal, you better be ready to move on it or get somebody that will. So great question. Anything else? All right, so I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about what's happening in our local market, just from you guys' perspective. What have you seen being out there in the market? So, Patrick, you want to start with that? What's happening?
No. Well, I mean, I'm definitely fine. I mean, with interest rates doing what they're doing with just regular buyers, not necessarily investors, it doesn't matter as much. But with regular buyers, I've seen the buyers they like come back out and then they come back in, they pop out of their hole and then they go back in their hole and then they come back out and then they go back in. So it's like they keep sticking their head out whenever the interest rates gets bad. And all of us, hopefully, don't rest, on the interest rates. I don't pay attention to that. I look at these long-term gains. I mean, Andrew talked about it. When I got into business, the median home price in Columbia was, I think, $160,000. That's $276,000 now. Wow. If you bought something back in 2015 or any time before COVID, you're sitting on a lot of equity. Most people that did buy something are sitting on a lot of equity. So, I guess, making sure that these buyers, they're kind of out there, kind of dwindling. There's more inventory out there. There's more deals to get. There's more. You can wheel and deal a little bit more. You can get a little more closing cost assistance now, which wasn't the case a couple years ago. So it's kind of getting back to normal a bit for some of us that have been in the business for quite a while.
Yeah. Rochelle?
I think you just have to find out what that buyer is looking for, what makes them tick. Like we just did a deal, Jonathan and I just did a deal on a house, and they're not moving until the end of June. So we had to find, what made them tick. So we're going to rent it back to them. And he said, well, rent it back to them for free. So, they are moving, they're building a house, and that's what we think won us the deal. So I think you have to not only think about what you need from the deal, you got to think about what that buyer needs from the deal too. That's important. So yes, we're representing the sellers for the most part for a lot of us, but we also have to think about the other side too. So I think that's really important too. It's not just about what we need, it's what the other person needs too, makes it important.
Yeah. Yeah, anything for that?
No, I just piggyback off what both of the two agents said. I mean, it's really, Patrick said it. You can't refinance a purchase price. You can't. You can refinance that interest rate, but now is always a good time to buy, because we don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what's going to happen, but we know real estate does appreciate. So buy now while you can. Buy as much house as you can afford.
Well, that leads me to the next question: is the market too hot to invest, to buy investment properties?
No. No, it's the right time. If it's your time, if you have the funding, this is the right time. You just got to find the right deal. That's it. Like Damien just said, now is the time to buy. Even if it was last year, it's the time to buy. It's buy and hold, buy and sell, whatever it is. You got to find your nook to purchase. So no, now is the time to buy. What are you waiting for? Yeah. It's like proposing to somebody. What are you really waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
This is another story, but yeah. So now
waiting for it to get better, right? Yeah.
Well, we don't know if better is coming, so you want to buy now.
That's right.
Hey, deals are still out here. I bought houses. Is that me or you?
I don't know.
Deals are still out here. I bought houses. Is it? I bought houses that at the time we weren't sure. I found a couple of wholesalers that I talked to. I mean, getting in touch and getting that network, getting into that Facebook group that Andrew provides for all of us is huge. Like, I want to find this, mom and son a property. Somebody in our group has got to have something out there that they can sell. He can only afford $130,000. That's just where he's at. But he's getting discouraged. He's like, I'll never find anything, but I'm going to find him something. I'm making it my mission to help him and his mom get out of their situation and find something, and not a rental, something he can actually own for the first time in his life. So, and he's my age, he's 47, 48 years old, and he's like, he just hasn't owned anything. And I said, we're going to remedy that. So, look out for people.
Yeah.
Love it. Anybody have any questions right now? Anything burning? Yep.
That's why I came back here because I came years ago. I used to the oil prices like that. And I think the market is not good for me because the miserity too expensive.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering, it's okay to buy now? It's okay to pour down? Maybe it's going back down the prices, or which way? I came back, which way this market is a.
Yeah.
We can go back to buy or buy or just hold on.
Yeah, that's a great question. So he just said that he came back here because 3 years ago the prices were a lot better, and so he's trying to figure out if now's the okay time to buy. And we just kind of hit on that. Is that 3 years ago people were saying the same thing? Right. It was too high 3 years ago. I remember pre-COVID. I distinctly remember 2019. People were saying it is way too high. These prices are way too high. The bottom's going to fall out. The bubble's going to burst again. Hold on. Save your cash. Don't buy. And then, of course, COVID happened. But then after that, we've seen consistent and steady incline where if you've been waiting since 2019 for the bottom to bust out, you're still waiting. So it's either you go ahead and do it, you find the right deal, you run your numbers, right? You use the right people to get the right deal. You either buy it now or you keep waiting, and waiting is not a recipe for success.
I was just going to say, I will say that a lot of calls that we get are from out-of-towners, from people from out of state. So this is a secret that is no longer a secret.
Yeah.
So many people from California, New York, Canada, everywhere, they're calling us. So they are purchasing because somebody somewhere wrote an article and said Columbia is the place to be. And so this is your place. So you should invest. Yeah.
And not only that, great point, but to add to that too, you got to think after COVID, the world became remote. Yeah. So now a northerner I don't have to wait 10 years until I retire to move down south. I can move down south now, right? So if I can move down south now, then I'll move down south now, sell my brownstone, which is probably worth 1.8, right? Come buy a $500,000 house and still put close to 700,000 in the bank, right? And now even the people that are here don't have the ability to compete with those kind of prices because, like you said, they're finding out Columbia is a great place to buy. And you got to think, if everybody comes off the fence at the same time, then what's going to happen to the house prices? If the rates drop, this will hopefully never happen again. If we get another pandemic, God forbid, and we go back down to 3%, what do you think is going to happen to the houses now? Yeah. If it's 5 now, it's going to be 9. Yeah. So that puts you back at I can't buy, right? So we're never going to get 99-cent gas again. We're never going to get $1.05 loaf of bread. We're never going to see $150,000 houses, unfortunately. Well, the last one that he finds for that other guy. We're going to find that one, right? But, you know, it's unfortunately if you don't buy now. But think about it. If you buy now and it's whatever it is, 5 years from now, you're going to be glad you did. So.
And they're buying them sight unseen. A lot of them are buying them sight unseen, and they're trusting us with it, finding the product for them. So
what I'm hearing is that we're in a hot spot and we need to take advantage of it. You all are here, you're local, you're in the right spot to do that. So do it. So, you know, get out there and find that deal and take action. That's a lot of what you have to do with some guidance, which is one of the things that the reason I like to do a panel with agents is because they're so good at guiding buyers and sellers and even investors. But I'm going to let Rochelle take this off. You should start with this one. It's what do you need from investors so that you can help guide them besides garage doors?
I need you to fix what's broken. You know, I think a lot of investors, you have to fix what the buyer is going to look at. So when you walk in, you know, would you buy it at this state? You know, or what do you think needs to be done? I think you need to trust me when I come to you and say, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. I don't want to spend your money. I promise I don't, because the more you have, the more we all will have. But as a buyer walking in, I know what they're looking for. So you need to trust me because you hired me, and I would not lead you in the wrong direction. So that's one. Number two, know that I'm being transparent, but it's for your own good. So I would say that's another thing. And what else? Yeah, those are the two things, transparency and let's not half do it. Let's do it the right way. So when it's time to sell, we don't have any issues. Yeah.
Yeah, no surprises on inspections. I mean, when you come back, when you've done redoing a house and you've hired a contractor, you know, make sure you're still, hopefully that contractor's still around, you know, and they come back and they fix the things that are on that list, and, you know, trust the people that you work with. I love networking, and I like this group, and I love other groups, and you know, your network is your net worth. I heard that somewhere, and literally everybody in this room, you know, has things that's come up, and we can all help each other through everything. You know, one thing I always say to new people when they're getting into this is find a deal. Just find the deal. Andrew told me this first thing. He's like, find a deal, the money will come. So whatever you do, find a deal. It doesn't matter what it is. Just find it. It could be a little piece of land. I mean, I know people make tons of money off just selling little pieces of land. I mean, everything's out there up for grabs.
Yeah, Rochelle said it best. Don't too often. The problem that I'm having with investors is, you know, real estate agents, we're customer facing. So when that house is closed or through the whole ordeal, they're seeing the listing agent and they're seeing the buyer's agent. Unfortunately, and not unfortunately, but this is how it goes. Most of the investors are hiding behind the LLC. They never see you. You don't come to closing, which is okay. However, a lot of agents that I've probably the last 3 investor deals that I've done, the agents were timid because the investors were being bullies. I don't have to fix nothing. Somebody will buy it. And that's their attitude. I mean, it's falling apart, you know, and nobody's, you know, when you got the deal, you know, you got to realize as licensed agents, we have fiduciary duties to these clients. So we have to be honest. We have to be open. We have to be transparent. You know, you guys don't have that as much if you're not carrying a license. You're just putting it out there, waiting on the cap rate or whatever the bottom line is. And we're okay with that. But understand that people are still buying to put their families in those houses. And it's not just a property or a numbers game when it gets to real people. Real people are looking for places to put their families. So when you're putting back on the market, like you said, listen to her. Listen to your agent. If they're telling you this needs to be fixed, one agent, she was like, they don't listen to me at all. Whatever I tell them, so whatever I suggest, they tell me they'll fire me if I can't get it done. So don't be that bully agent or investor that says I don't have to fix anything. Understand there's people that are living in these properties at the end of the day.
And that's a good point, because primary buyers are probably going to buy your investment property, especially if you're flipping it. I mean, fixing and flipping. But unless you're just selling it as is, turn around, sell it as is, that's a different person. That's an investor. But these primary buyers, they don't have money to fix what you won't fix. So you're not going to get that top dollar that you want. And yes, your house is beautiful and you did a great job, but there's another house that will come along and that they can afford, and that they fixed the window or they fixed this. So think about that when you're flipping these houses and you think they're beautiful. Yes, they are. But if your agent says you still got to open that window, or you still got to fix that garage door, or you still got to do something, trust them, because a primary buyer just looked at it. That's right. Good point.
We're fixing the garage door. You know that. So somebody hit the
y'all
garage
hear that?
door.
Y'all hear that tension? Yeah.
It just happened today.
So,
The tension did, not the garage door.
Somebody ran into it. Like, it's not my fault.
But see, we're
That's
good
what it
together.
was.
We have a great investor love language, so it's good.
All right. So, any questions out there?
Don't be a bully.
Don't be a bully.
Rochelle's the bully. Come on.
I believe that. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. Y'all saw that look?
Yeah.
I get it done though, y'all.
So we're gonna wrap it up. Unless there's questions out there, I'll let y'all think about it while I kind of ask the panel here about yourself. What do you love about this business? What got you in here? What keeps you going every day, day in and day out? Because it's not easy. But what keeps you going? You can go, Damon.
Being in law enforcement, it taught me the ultimate level of customer service to me. To me, law enforcement is the ultimate level of customer service. When you look at the Constitution, it starts with we the people. The authority that officers carry is handed down by the voters, by the people. My chief always says something, you're in a help profession, so help someone. I love helping people. I love helping people get to that next phase in life, whether it's buying a home, understanding what their purpose is, or whatever it is. That's my goal. That's my angle, is to help people. But that's what wakes me up every day. I live by a Japanese proverb called ikigai. It's you love it, the world needs it, you're good at it, and you get paid for it. That means when all four of those come together, in the middle is your purpose. So ikigai means that for which I wake. So whatever your purpose to do, whatever it is that you're gifted to do, get up and do that every day. And also, there's a scripture that says, love your enemy. I think sometimes we think that's somebody else. A lot of times that's us. So give yourself grace. You're going to fail at some things. Some things are not going to work. But love your enemy. Sometimes that's you. But that's what gets me through.
I can't follow that.
Oh.
I would just say, I love having the first conversation with people and finding out why they're doing what they're doing. What led you to invest, or why are you moving from your first house to this house? So I love helping you build your dream out, whether it's building generational wealth, or if it's just, I just want a lot of properties and I want to quit my day job, whatever it is. So for me, it's just helping people from the beginning to the end, and sitting at that closing table and seeing their, like, it's over, it's going to happen, Boyd. It's over. So I love that exhale. So I think for me, it's the inhale of I'm really doing this, and it's the exhale of we did it.
That's a great point. It's like jumping in a swimming pool. You're going to jump in. I jumped in both feet first, and I'm still swimming right now. But I love it. I love what I do. I've been doing it for 9 years, and I feel like this is just another step in my journey, learning how to not only help other investors, but also invest myself and network with people. And I just love people. I guess I learned how to make money running my mouth. So, I mean, I just talk to anybody. And when I hear real estate and just come up in a conversation, even if I'm at a restaurant or something, I find a way just to, oh, I hear you just looked at a house today, and then it just started, oh yeah, we saw this really nice house. And I mean, I did that the other day at the hangar over there in Owens Field. I was like, I listened to these people, and they were so excited about the house because their agent just put their offer in. I'm happy for everybody. I want everybody to win. Everybody can win in this business, and people that don't look at it that way, they're not going to win. I look at everybody can win. I'm happy for Damien. I'm happy for Andrew. I'm happy for Rochelle. I'm happy for everybody in this room that gets a win. So let's all go win.
Go team. All right. Do we have any questions? Any Q&A? Anybody? No. Everybody's ready. Y'all just pumped them up. They're ready to roll to go get that deal. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up. Y'all go start building.
Thanks for listening to the REI Deal Finders podcast. You can find out more and apply to be a part of the REI Deal Finder community at reidealfinders.club.